Hello, everyone. I wanted to talk to you today about my dream of a community. Um, I've held this dream for a really long time. If you're going to sit here and say, no, no, living a peaceful existence is impossible, if you're going to tell me about all the failures, not interested in hearing about it. If you're like, oh yeah, that's a really great idea, and but maybe if we did it that way or this way or a different way, then I'm interested in what you might have to say. But I've been told this is an impossibility for too long, and you know, we're never given a want, need, or desire without the means to making it happen. So let me kind of take you on a tour of my facility. Um, it's a communal living situation to a degree. It's an educational center first and foremost. We have permaculture gardens that we teach permaculture. We teach plant medicines. We teach all kinds of animal husbandry, knitting, weaving, whatever. What we teach and what we offer is only limited by the people that have a desire to participate. Um, Personally, I know people with tons of skills. So, okay, let me take you on the tour. As you drive up the drive, you see a big building in front of you. It's like many information centers that you've seen. There's nothing really stand out about it, except for in front of one of them, there is a set of produce stands. And you find fruits and vegetables, whatever is in season. And all of these vegetables and produce items have been grown on the facility. They've been grown in our own permaculture gardens, cultivated by the residents and interns that come to stay and learn. Uh, so you go inside the building, and off to the right, you're going to have administration buildings. This is where people come to set up tours, to schedule classes that they want to teach at the facility, to make proposals, anything official, right side at the administration hall. But off to the left, we're going to have like a grocery store or an art store, kind of a general store. And there will be handcrafted items, there will be food items that were made and canned and produced on the property. There will be a few things that are brought in from outside, luxury type commodities that can't be produced at that facility. And but you've got local honey, you've got art, you've got sculpture, you've got textiles, you've got hand woven things, knitted, felted, clothing that has been made, produced, and taught at this education center. And so, if you the store is in a co-op kind of situation, and it funds most of the provides most of the money that is needed for the facility, that and the teaching and selling of classes. I don't want the money to be like a really super big deal. There will be many free classes that are offered at the center, both for the residents that live on the property, but as well for the general public of whatever town we're near. What I don't want is this to be a closed off community. I want it to be an example of what is possible. I really want interaction with the greater community at large. Festivals, classes, music events, circus events, all kinds of things. And you'll find the facility for that if you head out the back door of this administration building, this front greeting area. And you will see scattered out along a series of boardwalks. The reason that I say a series of boardwalks is because I don't see the need to unnecessarily trample the living ecosystem with just regular travel. Of course, the permaculture areas are meant to be used and enjoyed, and there's sitting areas and play areas and different kinds of things. But, from just walking from one building to another, I've got a series in my mind. This is all in my mind. This all lives in my mind. A series of interconnecting boardwalks set out in kind of like a spider web. And at each of the hubs, there's like classroom buildings, storage buildings, garden buildings. If you out on the outer branches, you're going to have your living areas, which I think would be set up in like neighborhoods. And it's really important for me that every individual has their own personal living space. And this would be like a small, like a tiny house. It's not a lot of space, but there's a lot of communal spaces where you can lay out big projects. The importance of these smaller places is to allow people the opportunity to get away. We're going to be living in a communal setting. And anytime you get people together, you're going to need space. You need your own space. It's very important for everybody to have their own space. But it's also important for us to come together and be a community, to work together. All of these things are possible, but it can't be done by one person alone. It has to be done by a group of people working together for the greater good. And so in the center of this hub, in the center of our spider web, there's going to be a large, I'd like it to be circular. I don't know why, it just feels right. Building, yurt-like maybe. And this is where it's big enough for the whole community to gather and have a large get-together meal type situation. There's a professional grade kitchen back there where a lot of the canning for the property, whenever there's a large need for a kitchen, this is where we go. For canning, for teaching cooking classes, for large situations. And this is for the entire community. A lot of seminars are given in this space. There are dividers, so it can be divided up into smaller spaces if necessary. Maybe it has a loft with some offices and teaching spaces up above there. This is all still in my mind. So I'm very open to how it all ends up and how it all looks. This is just an image, and it's a dream, and it's something to be shared. So if we have this big central area, and if you head out on any one of the arms, one of the radial lines, you're going to come to a living area. Now, these living areas are like little neighborhoods. They've got individual pod areas with a large central living space with a full kitchen, bathrooms. Oh, permaculture. Most likely composting toilets, on demand water, everything. I want everything to be renewable energy. I want everything to be as sustainable as humanly possible. But okay, so we go out into these living nodules, and they kind of branch out like fingers of a hand, I imagine, with the central area being the palm. And in between, so you have like your own little living area. You got a little kitchenette. You got your own bathroom. You've got probably a desk, a chair, probably like a little studio apartment. How you fill it is entirely up to you. But for the most part, the way I imagine the world to be in this community is that your general needs are already supplied. I mean, like in the art area over here, you're going to have cubbies with painting materials and with sculpture materials, art materials, and what is available there is going to totally depend on what anybody is working at the time. But the money that is collected for the community, every individual that makes something is going to have their own spending money to do things with. But there's going to be a good portion that goes to the community, and this supplies paints, materials, screws, whatever's needed to sustain the workability of the community. Um, Animals, a workshop, glass studio, fitness studio. We'll teach yoga, dancing, whatever we need to whatever we need. But we will work on making it as sustainable and inclusive as possible. And then bring the outside world in and show what is possible with cooperation, with the willingness to set aside differences. Not only to set aside differences, but to embrace those differences, because it is those very differences that make any of this possible. Um, it's going to take the person who knows how to and loves paperwork. Get you. If we could create a foundation and make it a nonprofit, perhaps a trust. We need land. We need uh, permaculture students, people who have ideas that want to explore and create and maybe see if their ideas are viable. We could encourage that. I want it so that the outside community can rent space to for their events or for their classes, and in exchange, instead of changing money, I would ask that they allow any of the residents that are interested in this class to participate. And there's so many different ways, and I'm open to so many different ideas. And but if I keep it inside of my head, it will never ever happen. So I am hoping that maybe we can light a fire and start something, and this is all I work for. this is my ultimate why. This is why I do anything. And so, welcome to my world. I hope we can create this. I hope it sparks the imagination. And have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you.